I don't really think Graze is a skill worth investing 12 points into, nor is it really a skill that's worth being used in the tier 4 slot, but all the same, it's been added to the game, so I thought I'd give it a go at making a build around it. So obviously we're going to go with a sniper focused setup with a little bit of a twist. I'll get more into that later. For my skills, I went with a setup with a focus on jokers, armor, and of course, snipers. So for the jokers, I'll be picking up a lot of mastermind skills. In the middle tree, I'll be taking Confident and Partners in Crime. These are the more important skills in my opinion. This will allow me to have 2 converteds as well as giving me extra health, so to increase my survivability. Don't really care about the damage that jokers can do, so I'll leave this basic just so I can actually have the skill. And then Hostage Taker is the cherry on top for some health regen. For my armor skills, I'm going to be picking up Iron Man Ace for the ICTV armor. Everything else in Enforcer is really just to get up to that, so you can spec that as you please. And of course, we can't forget about the sniper skills. So the 3 important ones in Mastermind are Aggressive Reload, Ammo Efficiency, and of course, Graze. So, Aggressive Reload, snipers have an inherently slow reload, that'll help out with that. Ammo Efficiency lets me sit back a lot longer without having to grab ammo. And of course, Graze. So if you haven't used Graze yet, what it does is it basically gives sniper bullets an AoE effect, so it'll damage enemies around the enemy that you're shooting at. It's a nice little mechanic, it's kind of fun. And, well, they moved HVT over here in Go, so that's a little awkward, but here it is. This is high value target, so I can spot enemies and they'll take more damage. And bonus, if they're farther away than 10 meters, I will do a lot more damage, which makes sense with snipers. And everything else is just getting up to it. Also, I have a few skills sprinkled here and there. You can see the full build in the description. Oh, and I almost forgot the surprise of the build. So, for our equipment, we're going to be going with C4, so we're going to need more firepower aced. Why? Well, I'll show you why in a little bit. For my perk deck, I'm going to be using the Stoic perk deck, one of my favorites. Now, for the rest of the setup, you can use it pretty much as you please. Obviously, you're going to want to use a sniper for your primary. My preference is the Mosin Nagant sniper, modded with the long barrel, total ammo boost, and iron sights. Now, for my secondary, I decided to go with the MP40. Like I said, it doesn't really matter what you choose here. You can use a grenade launcher, pistol, crossbow, whatever you want. I just wanted something that would be, well, somewhat decent at taking out bulldozers because that is the main weakness that snipers have. For my melee, electrical brass knuckles, armor, ICTV. So right now I'm going to explain why I invested in C4 and why I bothered bringing C4 over something as important as ammo or medkits. One of the most important things for a sniper is having a spotter to assist the sniper in finding targets, giving advice on adjusting his aim based on fluctuations in wind and air pressure and all that nonsense. No video game has that sort of depth, not that I know of, but all the same, the concept is still valid. Having someone, or rather in this case, something, help you spot enemies as a sniper is immensely helpful. So for that reason, we're using C4 in sensor mode and placing them all around the map in certain spawn points and common areas where the AI will run through in order to help ourselves while defending the house. This map in particular is perfect for playing with this build because, well, you just need to defend the house and you get a perfect vantage point to shoot down on enemies. A veritable sniper nest, if you will. Now, I'd say that the sniper's most important job is killing specials. The high damage of a sniper rifle paired with the long-range capabilities lets you make quick work of important targets without letting them get close. Specials are pretty much useless without being able to use their special ability, so as long as you can keep them away, they're not a threat. Hence, having C4 to spot said enemies and give you their position makes life a whole lot easier. Now in this case, I'm also playing solo, so I have to make up for the lack of communication or the general awareness that I would have if I had human teammates. So for the rest of the setup, it's fairly straightforward. It's very similar to the sniper build that I made before, which shouldn't be surprising since there's only one new skill that was added to the build. But the premise is still solid. So to start with, high value target gives you more damage to marked enemies, and once they're marked forever, which synergizes well with the C4. So being more than 10 meters away to get that damage bonus, it's not too difficult. So it's fairly often that you're going to have the extra damage from the skill as long as you keep enemies away. Ammo efficiency, of course, is still a really handy skill to help you retain more ammo for precision aim. You know, I've seen some people say that it's not really worth picking up, but honestly, I think it's pretty helpful. I mean, when I run it, I don't really need to run out in the open too often to get ammo, nor do I really need to rely on ammo bags. So, it's very good for self-sustainability. Again, another thing that helps if you're playing solo. Aggressive reload helps speeds up your efficiency since snipers don't exactly have the fastest reload out there. And while they are very powerful weapons, they aren't well optimized in situations where you need to deal with a large number of enemies. And last but not least, Graze. Graze of course needs no introduction. I've talked about it in a video in the past, but, well, even in this video, if you're still unaware of how it functions, it gives you like a cone of effective damage when using sniper rifles. You know, not so much a cone, more like a cylinder. So you can think of it as an AoE effect when using snipers. When enemies are grouped up together closely, they'll all be affected by the skill. So if you get a headshot and a guy is within 1 meter close by, he'll also take the same damage. So with that, one sniper bullet has the potential to kill multiple enemies. Again, just another synergy that works extremely well with the skills like ammo efficiency, as well as countering some of the natural weaknesses of snipers. And after using this build for a little bit, there's actually something I wanted to point out that, well, I think is a little interesting. I think the multi-kill aspect of Graze might also affect the other skills that we picked up, in particular ammo efficiency, because ammo efficiency requires 2 headshots to get ammo back. But if you get a killing blow with Graze, you can kill more than 2 enemies. So maybe those other kills count as headshots? Who knows? I haven't actually done extensive testing of the skill, but if it did work that way, that would be extremely nice, you know? Just a perfect synergy for snipers as well as all the other skills that you're picking up. Still, I would like to say that I think Graze and snipers as a whole, they still don't feel like the best weapon to bring to 1-down difficulty, or death sentence, or whatever it's called. But this does help out their effectiveness if that's something you're going for. One of the recent things that the balance change did was it reduced the health of higher difficulty enemies. I think pretty much anything that's above Mayhem, so Death Wish, 1 down, or Death Sentence. It also buffed a lot of the weapon damages and such, so right now some of those snipers are doing a whopping 500 damage, one of which being the Mosin Nagant that I'm using. So before on 1-down difficulty, you'd need like 2 headshots to even kill a regular Zeal unit. But right now, you can kill them with just 1 headshot, without the help of any damage increasing skills like Berserker. So I think right there, that is really one of the best changes for sniper enthusiasts, if you ask me. It opens up a lot of builds that you can make in regards to snipers, since before, at least for me, it felt almost necessary to pick up all those mastermind skills alongside the right side of Fugitive for Berserker. I still think that the biggest hurdle you face as a sniper is not really how much damage you do, but just the damage that enemies do to you. You know, enemies have crazy good accuracy, and if they get any angle on you, that's a lot of damage that you'll take. So most of the time, the strategy for anything on Death Wish or 1 down is to avoid putting yourself in positions where you'll get shot at from a lot of places. And most of the time to achieve this, you have to limit the places that you can fight the enemy. So more often than not, that means putting yourself in close quarters. So, you know, in a small little room where you can funnel them in one at a time. It's extremely apparent after the balance changes because enemies, they aren't as hard to kill as they were before, but they still hurt a lot. And there's so many of them on the map that you can still die really fast. So for that reason, I also went with the Joker and Stoic combo. It's really hard to beat that setup for higher difficulties, and it helps out with the sniper setup too. With this build in particular, you get extremely focused on trying to hit enemies that are far away, or specials in really random ass places, and you get extremely tunnel vision, so having Jokers and additional teammates take aggro for you is really nice. After all said and done though, this setup, it's a little bit of an odd one, especially with the C4, because, you know, it's not your usual inspire, match, bring crits, you know, whatever. But I actually thought it was kind of oddly fun. I enjoyed the preparation aspect. You know, the idea for this build came from Soze, who was talking about a guy he ran into that was running around and putting C4 in spawn points. And instead of using the C4 as you'd expect, he actually used it in sensor mode to make the most out of the spotting skill. So I thought the idea of playing around these areas and forcing a little bit of a different mentality and a different strategy, rather than just the usual make a good build and then do lots of damage and then don't die. Yeah, that type of setup, you know, because that's how most of those one down builds go. Just make a decent build, bring a decent weapon, don't die, just shoot shit, right? So it's nice to have a little bit of a change like this. Unfortunately, setups like this, they aren't exactly the greatest counter to lots of enemies and buttloads of damage, which, you know, is exactly how higher difficulties work in this game. But I suppose that's just how it goes. So it was fairly enjoyable. Give it a try, maybe. And, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.